Dann mach es mal richtig, du Wichtigtuer.
Is that what you wanted? Is that what you had in mind? You Nazi asshole. Because that's all you're getting.
Wunderbar, wunderbar. Haben Sie das gesehen, Helene? Wie geboren für die Rolle. Er wird mein Platz-Kollege. Oh Gott! Er ist mehr als perfekt.
Okay, hello everyone, this is Galacticus X coming back to you with another video, this time with some scattered thoughts, a sort of short review on Wolfenstein II, the new Colossus. Now, what we're talking about here is a strictly single-player shooter, an FPS in the vein of, the previous Wolfenstein games. It's an immediate successor to the New Order, which was a fantastic game. In a time when single-player campaigns have become have taken a backseat in the industry, since multiplayer games nowadays make more money for the companies, and the esports scene is exploding and keeps people engaged for longer. Wolfenstein II seems to be going against the current trends. Okay, let's get to the meat of the game. Now, the problem here is that the campaign is rather short, well, comparatively to the previous game, and not all that interesting. Personally, I didn't find it so interesting, always compared to that of the New Order. I logged about 19 hours in the game to reach the end. But mind you, I like to play stealth. I mean, taking down enemies one by one and clearing the level as a saboteur rather than going in guns blazing. Also, I played some levels more than once to capture some footage. So normally I'd say that the clear campaign time would be around 12 to 15 hours in normal difficulty to beat the game. Now, what I like best about the new Colossus is the immensely satisfying methods you have at your disposal to spread death, carnage and destruction all around you.
Was zur Hölle war das für ein Geräusch? Ist da jemand? Ein Mann wurde getötet! Ihr habt einen erwischt!
Shred your opponents with powerful shotguns, plasma guns, laser rifles. You can stab them, hack them, slice them, dice them, chop off their limbs. You can sneak behind big mechanical troopers, cut their fuel line, and incinerate them by shooting at the spilled kerosene. You can even sprint and smash into your human opponents, thrashing their bodies once you get a special augmented power armor chest plate later in the game. You know, the explosions, the lightning, the particle effects, the very satisfactory sound of the guns is probably the most rewarding aspect of the game. along with the fact that you can be as brutal or as clinical and precise as you want, firing headshots from long distances, or targeting limbs, or stripping pieces of armor from your more heavily armed opponents. On the other hand, your human opponents don't really display much intelligence. They are rather easy pickings, especially if you equip your gun with a targeting scope at the early stages of the game. And in any case, targeting is perhaps too easy because there is little to none kickback, and you can keep firing without losing your target from your sights. You know, it's a trend in modern shooters that facilitates control with a gamepad. So using the normal keyboard and mouse method on the PC makes things that much easier. So the game is focused on a linear path with relatively small areas to explore, navigating corridors, discovering secret underpasses to sneak behind your enemies and go around them. A strategy that's advisable for larger opponents armed with heavy weaponry, and assassinating the officers on the level, murdering them quietly can prevent them from triggering the alarm and getting in more reinforcements. The environments are beautiful and immersive, but the level design is not the best. And the worst thing is the existence of invisible walls. I think that shouldn't really exist in a 2017 game. Now, I would have liked to see more intricate missions, perhaps with NPC coordination and command issuing or switching between characters, but that is not the case here. All the game does is taking you from point A to point B. Also, there is no branching story, no decision making, nothing of the sort. Unfortunately, the variety of the enemies is unsatisfactory, but the most disappointing part is the lack of interesting and challenging big bosses. And on top of that, there's only one section that you get to ride a vehicle. Well, sort of a vehicle, more of a mechanical contraption. That's a good level. That's a good level. I wouldn't want to spoil it for you. Okay, now let's go to the story, shall we? The story, you know, it's crazy. I mean, it's bananas.
You, how do you say thank you in German?
Oh, of course, sir. Let me see. It's,
Yes.
dank, dank,
Yes, out with it.
dank, danky.
My God. Was that alright? No, that was terrible. You're butchering my beautiful language. It's Danke schön, verdammt. Say it.
Danke schön?
Incorrect. Danke schön.
Danke schön?
I've heard enough. No more.
I'm so sorry, sir. I'm still practicing.
You will practice hard.
Oh, I will, sir, and I am.
It's completely over the top. I mean, saying that it's over the top is an understatement of itself. And there's slaughter and bloodshed, gore in abundance, and times when the developers will really mess with your mind and surprise you. It's as if Machine Games, the studio behind this game, have taken cues from Tarantino movies, especially The Inglourious Bastards, on how to make the wackiest, most unbelievable story of an alternate timeline America of the 1960s ruled by the Nazi Germany. And the craziest thing by far is what happens to your the main character Blazkowicz in the middle of the game. It's just bonkers. I mean, I could give you a clue. If you've seen, a cartoon series, Futurama, it's the Head Museum. But enough said about that. Play it for yourself and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, besides the craziness, the story really goes nowhere. It's obvious that whatever questions are remain unanswered will be further explored in the coming DLCs. But it's a bit of the story is a bit of a mess. It's clear that there's gonna be a continuation through the DLCs and a third game in the series. But the story as it stands now, the missions you take, they don't make very much sense. The stories, let's say that the story is there just as an excuse to move the action further, and you shouldn't really care about it. Personally, I would prefer a little darker tone, something more, gritty with bigger scope, higher stakes, and a more militaristic approach than rather than moving along with a bunch of hippie rebels and playing the fetch dog all the time. Granted, Blazkowicz is the ultimate soldier pawn. I mean, he takes orders all the time, but I would appreciate it if it would be a welcome change if he was the one calling the shots for once, instead of following orders all the time by blithering idiots. The rest of the bunch of your rebel squad is just there as filler for cutscenes and to occupy you with some moments of levity and comedic relief in between missions. Speaking of comedic relief, I don't think that the humor is of any high standard, but anyway, they do absolutely nothing during the actual game, the other characters, so whatever. Now overall, to wrap it up, Wolfenstein II is a very good single player first person shooter if you take it just for that, but it could have been much better. These days, when games with lengthy single player campaigns have taken the backseat, it is a must buy for gamers who prefer going solo and like old school shooters that don't hold you by the hand and don't let you see behind the walls with X-ray vision. Okay, that's all for now. Until next time, take care and stay out of harm's way. Bye.
Keys. Run.